two, one.
Hey everybody, I'm the Mike.
And I'm Shawnda.
Welcome back everybody.
Yes.
We're going to be doing some questions today. We actually went through the comments this morning and decided, you know what, we're going to answer our fans.
We did. You guys have been asking us different questions and we didn't want to make one video on one question. So we tried to wait until they kind of built up so that we could just create an actual video answering questions.
Right.
So Michael has a question, so he's going to go over the questions and then we're just going to answer.
All right, let's do this. You want to hop right in?
Yep, let's hop right in.
Cool. All right, so here we go. How old are we? I'm 19. Okay, fine. I'm 38, guys.
He's 38 and I am 29. I will be 30 in August.
Yeah. And I will be 39 in November.
Yeah.
We're getting on up there.
I know, right? I'm about to be 30. We're not going to talk about that.
We're getting close to 40, so.
Yeah.
All right, we got another question. How do we resolve conflict?
That's a really good question.
That is a really good question.
You go first.
I find that giving up sometimes is the best solution to resolving our problems. And now, honestly, we actually, when we first got together, we used to have problems. You know, of course, in our previous videos, we told y'all in the beginning we had, some issues trying to relate. Yeah, so we actually had to come to, I guess...
Had to compromise.
Compromise. That's the word I was looking for, yeah. And now, don't get me wrong, there have been times where we have argued to a point where I'd have to go to the gym or, we'd have to actually go somewhere for a little bit.
Or I'm hopping out the car.
Right. But I find that if we separate, for a little bit, kind of cool down, it gives us time to be more rational. One of the things I think we both worked on was, not having irrational responses because I was very irrational. Yeah. And the only way for us to really do that sometimes, depending on how upset we get, is by removing ourselves to have some time to actually calm down so we can think more rationally.
Right.
And once that happens, we normally kind of come together. We haven't really come across any problems that we couldn't resolve. So,
we haven't. Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. So from my perspective, when we, initially with our conflicts, as you would call that, when we were long distance, I feel that conflicts were not as big of a deal because Michael was very receptive to when you would tell him, hey, I'm not really fond of this. This is why this will be better if, it was like this type thing. Right. And he would be like, oh, you know what? I never thought about it like that. Let me switch this, and so because he was so receptive, it took a while for us to actually hit a heated conflict, right?
Right. Because
it would be if he would tell me something that he didn't like, I would change it. And if I told him something that I didn't really like, he would change it. And it wouldn't be an issue again. But once we moved in together and actually was seeing each other and dealing with each other every day, then that's when we realized that we handle conflict differently. Like Michael was saying earlier, I call him a hothead. He's hot-headed. When he gets upset, he's hot-headed, for real. And he goes from 0 to 100 real quick and then back down to 0 within the same 60 seconds. And so for me, I'm very big on picking your battles and knowing when to act out a conflict and when to just kind of wait until there's an appropriate time. And Michael don't care where we at, what's going on, who's around us. He ready to settle it then. And so I feel like that was a big issue that we had to compromise or come to an understanding on look, we can't keep handling things like this, And then also as far as how we handle conflict now, when we have a fallout, we have boundaries. So I wouldn't say recent now, it's been a while, but one thing that we definitely discussed that we were mutually going to stop doing is not arguing or having moments in front of the kids. Right. So conflicts can be random. Sometimes they just kind of hit you from a random place and you don't know what's happening until it's happening. And because we have this moving situation, which we're going to talk about that in another video, but it's been very stressful. And so we have had to really come to an understanding of, okay, let's not do this in front of the kids because the kids are here 24/7 and the walls are thin. But now I feel like we've gotten a lot better with.
Well, you know, when you first start a relationship, this is something that I had to learn. And, you know, I think both of us kind of had to learn this. You know, when we used to have conflicts in the beginning, you really fight out of a place of anger.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've been together long enough, you know, like, and you get to that threshold that we're at right now where we actually absolutely love each other, adore each other, and we're compassionate with one another. When we do have disagreements or we do have conflict or something like that, it's coming from a place of love.
It's a big difference
too. Right. So when you come to that understanding, and when I'm angry with Lashawnda about something, you know, the very first thought that comes in my head is she really loves me. Like, you know, what this was about. I think of it differently, you know, and a lot of your mindset is how you view things and how you think about things as well. If you view what the opposite spouse is doing as a negative, then you're going to have a negative reaction to that.
And like they're out to get you constantly. Like if you feel like your spouse is constantly out to get you, right, or if you're in competition, or if they're in competition with you, then conflict is going to be completely different in that type of dynamic versus if both partners know that the other person has their best intentions, they know that it's coming from a place of love, I feel that it causes you to respond to that differently.
Right. And I think another big thing also that helped me out, you know, because you guys know my past from the videos that we've had before. One of the reasons why I was so moldable was because I had to come to the sudden realization that everything that I was doing up to that point didn't work. So therefore, right. So therefore, if what I was doing and the way I was reacting and the way I was handling things was not working, then I have to put myself in a position to where I can be moldable and do things differently, approach things differently, handle things differently. And that's kind of where we're at now. So.
Yeah. So now, I mean, he kind of hinted on it. Like, if it gets really bad, and that's very, very rare.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Very rare. Then we will separate. Like, you might need to go to the gym. I tend to like to leave the house if I'm like really upset or something like that. I mean, with gas prices, I'm gonna have to come up with something else.
Lord, we're gonna have to. Hey, we honestly, all of us, we got to come together about this whole financial thing.
Yeah, that's another video though. But yeah, with gas prices, I might have to come up with another solution. But for the most part, we separate and give each other space.
Right.
And I think that is really important because I used to be the type of person where I like to handle it right then. Like, no, we're going to do this now. You ain't going nowhere. But sometimes when you're in that vibration of anger and being upset, and now you want to one-up the other person or prove your point, it just gets worse.
Right. And not only that, when you come from a place of anger, you got to be really careful. Because what comes out of this mouth can't go back. Mm-hmm. And when you're getting to a position where you're trying to one-up the other person, the very first thing you do is cut. Mm-hmm. You got to be careful on that cut.
And I cut hard when I get mad. And I know that. Like, my mouth is like a sword when I'm angry. So I have to be very careful when I get to that place because I already know once she turns on, it gets rough. But okay, let's go to the next question.
All right, let's see what we got. What days are our videos going to be produced? So we actually touched on that earlier, as a matter of fact. And I think what we're going to do is as soon as we get into the new place, we're probably going to start producing these videos on Tuesdays.
Our goal is to create content. We haven't come up with a content creation day, and that's why our videos come out randomly, because as of right now, our working schedules are kind of opposite of each other. But the goal is for us to post every Tuesday after we move, because we are about to move.
And we, apologies to everybody that it's taken us 2 or 3 weeks to produce a video. Yeah. It's just been a really hectic schedule. And then, of course, with them upping the price of everything, we're having to work overtime. Yeah. So it's not been the easiest.
It hasn't. And we move in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And you guys are gonna get a vlog and a house tour and all the other stuff.
Yeah, y'all gonna be a part of this.
Yes, we definitely want to take you guys along for the journey. But after we move and get settled, hopefully our goal is to post every Tuesday. If we do 2 videos, because we're not promising 2 videos every week, but if we do post twice in 1 week, it will be on Tuesday and then another one on Thursday.
Unless God blesses us. We get into a position where we can do this for a living,
right?
Then we gonna get really close, everybody.
Yeah,
I'm
just
agree.
Saying.
Okay. All right, let's see what we got.
Question?
All right, wedding question. Okay, so we've been getting a lot of, are you married? How long have you been married? When are you getting married? I don't have my ring on.
Hold on, I just took a shower. Hold on. Okay.
No, but anyhow, so we've been getting questions in the comments about, are we married? How long have we been married? Are we getting married? So, do you want to answer that?
I do. So, I'm engaged, you know.
Unless she's in the shower.
I'm engaged. We are engaged, and we got engaged in December of 2021. And our goal for our wedding, for one, we're not planning to have a traditional wedding. That's the first thing. We're not going to have a traditional wedding. But before we even get into all of that, me and Michael made the decision that we want to wait until we get in a better financial place where we can have the type of wedding, the type of celebration that we want to have when we do actually get married. And then also, Michael, you want to tell them what your goal is before we get married?
So my goal is to get down to like maybe about 220 or so, which for me, where my weight is right now, that's a good 80 pounds.
Yeah. So he said he didn't want to get married until he got down to the weight that he wanted to get down to.
I mean, I just, my thing is I just want to make sure I represent my baby.
For me, it doesn't matter. That part. That's more of his goal.
Yeah.
My goal, that is our mutual goal, is we want to get into a better financial place before we get married.
Well, and another thing too, one of the things that we had discussed as well was that we really want to fly our closest friends to our wedding, which we want to get married maybe somewhere tropical or something like that.
Absolutely.
So we definitely want to get, whoever we're close to, because we don't have a whole lot of people right now. We're very cautious. We're very cautious, and we're very protective of this relationship because it's a very unique relationship and it's a very important one. So we tend to choose who has our best interest. But however, having said that, though, we're wanting to do something tropical.
And here's the thing. I just don't feel comfortable paying for 100 people to come and see us get married and eat our food and talk junk about whatever they don't like about the ceremony, reception. I'm not close enough to enough people to feel like that's a priority for me to do that. I have the people that I am close to. Michael has the people that he's close to.
Right.
I would much rather spend the money that we would typically spend on a wedding to fly all of us out together. Like, I guess you can essentially say something like the bridesmaids and then the groomsmen type situation. We all fly out.
Vacation together. Everything
is paid for, so they don't have to worry about paying for anything. And we use that as us getting married. They're there. Our closest people are there. We eat great foods, go somewhere tropical with the clear blue waters, and then when we come back, I do want to throw like a celebration party, like a we got married party type thing.
Absolutely.
And then that's when like the extended family and friends and stuff can come and celebrate with us.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do.
How do the parents receive the relationship? Well, my parents have passed away. My mom died in 2009 and my dad died in 2016.
Yeah, and then my dad died when I was 9. I don't know what year that was. But my mom, she received Michael really well. Now, I think, I don't even know what word to use. I don't want to say territorial or protective, but I think my mom has come to a place where she's always been there for me and my kids. And I think it's still kind of weird for her to see that he is kind of taking that role type thing.
She's protective.
Yeah, and so it's like, don't get me wrong, she's supportive. Like, she was in the video he made it to propose to me, right? But I think it's taken a while for it to be digested.
Right, and it's, and understandably so. It's not easy. If it were me and I was, raising my kids and then somebody stepped in the picture, it's not going to be easy. So I definitely get where she's coming from.
Yeah, so.
All right, let's see what else we got. How many kids do you have? So I have a wonderful 16-year-old which you and your two beautiful children are going to meet at the end of next month.
Yep. And then, like you said, I have 2 boys.
Yes.
I have one aged 9 and one aged 12. He about to be a teenager. He got little hairs on his arms.
Oh, he does have little hairs on his arms.
He got little hairs, y'all. He showed up to me this morning again because he just knows I love to see him growing up and in puberty. But I was literally about to start crying. I was like, oh my God, you got hairs.
Don't feel bad. Wait till they call you up and they're like, hey, Dad.
I'm not ready.
What you doing, Dad?
I'm not ready for that.
Like, that's what I get.
I am. I am not ready for them to wake up one day and have that deep voice. Like, it makes me want to cry just thinking about it.
Yeah, my son definitely has that deep voice, but they're wonderful kids, though, man. My son, yes sir, no sir. Her kids, yes sir, no sir. Yes ma'am, no ma'am. Very, very respectful. Very respectful. I love these kids. I will add to this too, and we may, if you guys want me to do a video on this on another day, I will. But I will say, because I am 29, I don't know if you did the math already, but I had my oldest son when I was like early 16. I was pregnant when I was 15, and I had him when I was 16. I was considered a teenage mom. I was still in high school when I had him. So the struggle was real. But like I said, you know, if y'all want me to do a video on more detail with that later, I will. But yeah. How did your friends react to your relationship?
You go first.
Okay, so I actually had a friend here a while back that came up here from Georgia. And it was so funny because, you know, he's literally, we're a lot alike. Like, seriously, if I had a brother, that would definitely be him.
Yeah.
You know? But I absolutely love him. He came up here and he hung out with us for a while. And it's so funny because I was waiting for the question. So as soon as we got in his truck and we were getting ready to head to the gym, he looks over at me and goes, Michael, I got to ask you something. I said, I know. He goes, what's it like? I said, it's no different. I said, honestly, she treats me better than anybody's ever treated me. And he just thought that was like the coolest thing ever. He's so respectful of our relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about your friends?
My friends was excited. It's like, oh my God. Right? So, I'm really close to one of my cousins, and then I have another friend that I'm also really close to that I used to work with. And they were kind of going through this journey with me when I even made the decision to be like, you know what, I'm about to try something different. I'm going to be open to like another race and see what happens. And then when I met Michael, they were kind of like on edge, like, let's see how this is going to go. Like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Da, 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 da. And so when we actually did, you know, become, I don't want to say partners, but like when we got in a relationship, and it wasn't like a short-term relationship, like we actually started going a little further.
When her friends actually saw that I really did love her.
Yeah, they were just like, wow, like I might have to try this too. Like, and I'm gonna say this again. I'm not saying that only white men treat black women great, okay?
Right.
But based on my experience, it made me decide to try something different, okay? That's what I'm gonna say.
One of the questions that we had whenever earlier was about the whole how will my parents react, and I'm gonna tell you, my mom told me one time that she didn't care who I got with as long as they treated me good. She didn't care if it was women, men. She didn't. I just don't come from that kind of background.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You know, we have family members that are with the same sex, stuff like that. It was never an issue.
Right.
The only issue was as long as you're treated good, and my mom was real firm on that. So.
Right.
But
and I would say family's the same too, because Michael has officially met my family now, and they were very open. They were very receptive to him. Like, you go, bro, I say yo. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we're good when it comes to the family side and the friends and family. Like, they love us.
My friends love Lashawnda. My coworkers, honestly, after meeting her, they're like, dang, you know, she's honestly like one of the guys. Like, she's so much fun to be around.
Yeah.
You know, so. Let's see what else we got. What is our zodiac signs? So, you want to go? I'll go. Yeah? I am a Scorpio.
He is a Scorpio, y'all. And he is the first Scorpio I have ever met and have ever experienced. And when I tell you...
We are the easiest signs. Yes, I agree with you. We're so
Scorpios are hot-headed. And I didn't find that out until after I started... after I started dating one and I started looking up like the traits and all this other stuff for Scorpios, and I'm like, dang, that's you.
I mean, I'm just
And I'm a Virgo. For those that are interested, I'm a first day Virgo. My birthday is August 23rd, so I'm like the first day.
Which means she's better with money than I am.
I'm very good with money, and I love organizing stuff and creating to-do lists and
organization.
All that.
I admire you on organization.
Yeah.
She's got a list to tell her about the list that she's got.
I literally do have a list for my list that goes with my list.
But I love it though because she kind of keeps things in order, so it's nice. How do I feel? Oh, that's you.
Okay, so this question was actually a recent question that we got yesterday. That was really, really good. And this is our last question. I didn't write the whole thing down, but I'm gonna summarize what it was about. How do I feel about Michael's relationship with his son when we met? Or how did I feel? How did I get past it? And what red or green flags did I look for or see? So I'm gonna break this question down because this actually was something that I really didn't take lightly whenever we got into a relationship. So the first part, how did I feel about Michael's relationship with his son when we first met? When we first met, Michael and his son did not have a relationship at the time because Michael had just became like a recovering alcoholic. He had went through rehab and all the other stuff. Right. And they weren't really on good terms at the point of where we met. Right. My thing was, with me being a mom of two boys and also knowing friends who have had, bad relationships with their fathers, it was very, very important for me to make sure that Michael knew how important it was for him to get his relationship back with his son because it wouldn't have worked otherwise. Right. Now, it's one thing when, your son or your child taps out and they're just like, I don't want anything to do with you, like da-da-da-da, and it doesn't matter how hard you try, what you try to do, they still don't want anything to do with you. It wasn't really that type of situation, but it made me feel very uncomfortable that he didn't have a relationship with his son because of the fact that he was still a teenager, and having your father is very important. And I didn't want him to feel that he could just let that relationship go, move to Charlotte, and act like that relationship never exists, or act like he doesn't exist. I didn't want him to think that was going to be okay. And I'm not saying that was what he was acting like. Yeah. I was just making it clear, like, you need to get your relationship back with your son. Right?
As a matter of fact, it was even discussed that relationship had to be resolved before I moved.
Yes. I told him he could not move to Charlotte until him and his son were back on good terms. He understood. He was okay with him moving to Charlotte. Like, all of that was a conversation. And I'm saying this because when you're in a relationship with someone who intentionally doesn't want to have anything to do with their kids, I feel that makes you an enabler of the situation. Because that child really needs that relationship with them. And if you're allowing that man or woman to just move on with their life with you and act as if nothing different is going on, not only is that child going to resent their father or their mother, they're also going to resent you.
Well, and also, I guess from just from my perspective, and this is just my thought on that, if somebody can let their child go,
right? Do you really want to be with them?
What kind of relationship are they going to have with you? That's
Absolutely.
Their child.
Absolutely.
And I couldn't let my relationship go with my baby. That's my baby. I mean, that's my first baby.
The green flag that I saw that made me open and receptive to waiting for the relationship to be rekindled is the fact that Michael always talked about his son. Anytime he talked about his son, he would get teary-eyed or start crying, or like, I could tell it was very important to him. And he wasn't making excuses for him not being able to rekindle his relationship. So that is what made me be like, okay, he really does want this. He really is trying what he can do to rekindle this. And I need to be supportive so that he knows that someone has his back, while he's on this journey. Because there would be times where he would do certain things and it might not work out, and he would get, kind of upset or, feel a type of way. And I would have to bring him back. Like, look, babes, you got to give him time. You got to, allow the situation to naturally flow. And that's why in the other video I said, I didn't push myself on his son. Like, I didn't worry about him being like, you need to let him know about us. It wasn't about me at that time. It was really about him and his son. And that's why when he would go to visit his son, I never came, because I'm like, he needs to spend that quality time with you. He doesn't need to spend that quality time with you and then you got this, your girlfriend, you know, coming behind you. So now it's not really just y'all. It's like, you know, so that's the first part. The second part was, how did I get past it? I didn't get past it. It was a daily journey, right? It was just a daily journey waiting for his son to kind of slowly come back. And the thing is, once y'all met at, was it Walmart? And actually got to have that interaction in person, it switched after that. Like, it just...
As soon as we saw each other, we sat there holding each other in Walmart for at least 20 minutes.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. And I feel like that one moment kind of switched the whole dynamic after that. So I didn't get past it. You know, I still kind of stayed on Michael like, hey, you know, have you tried this yet? Or have you talked to, and I still do this to this day. Yeah, I'm like, hey, have you talked to have you talked to Joseph? What's going on? Is he good? How's he doing? Like, just keeping it fresh, because we are in a different state, you know. So because he doesn't get to see Michael like that, then I feel that at least, you know, keep that relationship live. Absolutely. Keep calling him, keep doing this. And he does that anyway. It's just, I guess, the mother instinct to just ask certain questions when you think about it. And then the last thing, what red or green flags did I look for? So red flags that I looked for that I did not find was Michael just living his life and not even considering his son at all. That was something that I was looking for that he never presented. Another red flag that I was looking for was playing the victim. Like, it's not my fault. He needs to come to me. I'm his dad. He needs to try to talk to me. That was another red flag that I looked for that he did not show me. The reason why those are big is because if you feel that it's your son's fault for you not being in his life, that is a red flag, because they are a child. Right? You are the adult. It's your responsibility, if you messed up, to rekindle that relationship as the parent.
And not to mention, children react to how you act.
They do.
So
they do. And then, was there another red flag that I looked for? I guess the last red flag that I looked for was just, like, I guess how often they talked, or how often he would go out of his way to, like, visit his son, or, you know, like, little things like that. But he gave it 100% with what he had. He did. And I feel that with this move, it's going to really allow him to be able to spend a lot more time with his son, because that is something that is on the top priority list for this year, for them to see each other even more than what they saw last year. And considering the fact that we're getting married, you know, I am going to be around. And that's why I think now that me and your son have talked a lot. We've talked a lot. I wouldn't say he feels comfortable with me yet, because I feel like he has to kind of meet me before he gets completely comfortable. I know
once he meets you, though, he gonna love you.
Yeah.
Like, you can't help but love you.
Yeah, I think once we actually start to hang out as a family together, and he kind of sees the fun, natural dynamic that we have here, it's going to be even easier, because then we can start going on trips together. Like, we want to go on a cruise.
Yeah,
and do
I
all
can't
these
wait
other
for
things.
that. Yeah.
Right.
If any of y'all have ever been on a cruise, you know they got good cheesecake.
Someone that got good cheesecake. But that was the last question that we had. Thank you guys so much for your comments. Man. We always say that.
So freaking positive.
You guys are. Like, I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, we do get like a negative comment here and there, but for them, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, we get like one negative comment out of like
500 or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know. It's up there.
Right, but we appreciate all of you who really do support us. All of you who be like, "Hey, where y'all at? It's been a while now."
Trust me, we think about you guys all the time too. So we're ready. We do, man.
And we read and respond to every single comment. Yes. So if you comment, know that we are going to respond to you.
Yeah, not to mention, share your ideas with videos you want us to talk about or discuss or do, or any of those things. So
yes.
we're
And
always interested.
And then at the end of this, if you have a question that we did not answer that
Right.
you are curious about, or if you would like for us to go in more detail about something that we did answer, drop your comments and your thoughts below so that way we could do a part 2 to this video. That's all we have for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye.